And I just wanted to do a short stream clarifying a lot of things, right? So the thing is that I've been looking at comments over the last few days. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of comments. And I've been reading a lot of things that people have been saying and all that kind of stuff, right? So the reason why I wanted to do a stream out of it, actually, is because a lot of YouTube content is being put out there right now by a lot of different people, and a lot of clips are circulating, a lot of videos are circulating, right, where people are kind of getting the wrong idea. So I wanted to record something, and you can almost think of this as a live YouTube video, so that I could post this, right, and I could clarify on all the platforms where actual mistruths, lies, and half-truths are being spread, exactly what is going on, okay? So, without further ado, let's talk about a few things. First thing that I wanted to clarify was the concept of a nuke. So, back in Canada, when Tarzan decided to randomly bring up Laura, right, and when Tarzan decided to shit-talk her on his stream publicly in front of thousands of people and have clips circulating because of the words that he used that implied a whole lot of bad things and that then sent her hate, I got in a call with him later that day after my outburst on stream. Now, in that call with Tarzan, I was asking him, I was like, yo, what is going on? Because the thing is that what we had was a private dispute, right, which I'm sure all of you know by now, is the Brazil airport incident where they had a disagreement over something and then just stopped talking to one another, right? And then I thought it was left at that. But he decided to make it public. He decided to almost publicly shame her in a way. And the entire time that he was doing it, he was using words like, you know, all I'm going to say is I feel bad for Dantes. I just really feel awful for the person he has to deal with. He constantly insinuated that I was in a horrible relationship. He insinuated that Laura, right, who at the time was my partner, was a horrible person. And all of these nasty things. So obviously, I lost it on stream. I was telling him it's not our place to talk about private matters, right, that we already talked about and that we already resolved. But he didn't see it the same. So anyways, after stream, we get in a call with each other. And during the call, we're sitting there, and I'm telling him, I'm like, yeah, what you did was really fucked up, you know, bringing it up publicly in front of everyone, sitting there and trying to shame her and all that shit. Why the fuck would you do that? And he instantly became super defensive, right? Started saying things like, well, listen, if you're going to sit here and you're going to start exposing stuff about me, then I can ruin her. Those are his words. He was saying things like that he can ruin her. He was saying things like he had an ultimate truth bomb, a nuke against her. He was implying that he had such a crazy story against her that I would do best to stop talking about the situation at all because he was going to sit there and he was going to expose something. Now, what I find interesting is that when he said that, my response was, well, if you truly consider us friends, then why are you going to sit there and say this? If you truly consider us friends, then why are you going to blackmail me, by the way, and pretend like you have some crazy nuke against her that you're going to release if anything gets said? So after this, I was like telling him, I was like, listen, if you really think I'm your friend, go on and explain it. Go on, if you really think I'm your friend, and tell me this thing that you have against my girlfriend at the time. So after a few minutes of trying to reason with him, he sits there and his response is, well, the nuke was that at one point in Brazil, she was kind of like shit-talking you behind your back, and the actual reality of the situation was that she was bringing up a problem that we had in our relationship to TF Blade, and Tarzan was just sitting on the sidelines overhearing it. But then at the end of it, she was like, oh yeah, by the way, Um, yeah, I mean, Dantes always works on improving and he always works on bettering himself, so I don't hold it against him. And that's what Tarzan told me his ultimate nuke against her was. A little strange, isn't it? So, fast forward to a few weeks later, and we haven't talked at all. We haven't said anything at all. There had been no communication between us in any regard whatsoever. Okay? Apart from the fact that he would go on Twitter posting screenshots of having 20 Hecarim games in Grandmaster and saying that he was the best Hecarim in the world, sneak dissing me on his streams throughout the entire time, talking about how he invented Hecarim builds that I made up, right? And sitting there and always just constantly throwing shade at me. That was the extent of our interaction over a few weeks. So what ends up happening, give me a second. So what ends up happening is me and Laura break up. I decided to end things because, and this is something that I'll clarify again because there's a lot of misconceptions and half-truths about it. But the reason why I made the decision for us to split was because at the time of us talking, we kind of reached this weird agreement where I said I needed time to think about things, and she said that if I needed time apart from her, then it would have to be a breakup because it was her boundary that she was saying a couple should be able to work through everything, which I completely understood and respected, that was her viewpoint. So I was faced with a hard decision where I was put in this line where it's like, okay, well, I need time apart, but I also don't want things to be permanently ended, but it's a boundary of hers, and so I'll respect it, right? So just as she was willing to respect my boundary, I was willing to respect hers. Okay. Now, I want you to also keep in mind, and she talked about this on her stream today, that although our relationship was amazing, there were still our fair share of arguments. We had talked about breaking up 3 or 4 times and very serious discussions about it over the course of the last few months. It was a thing where I was constantly having issues, right? Things where, my mind, things where sometimes even certain actions I would do, I would try to think differently or become better, right? But it's almost like it was too little progress, at least in the way that I viewed it, right? So we would have our fair share of disagreements and everything, and there was just a lot going on behind the scenes, right? That wasn't really talked about that much. That happened, And over the course of the months, there were a few events that we had to go through that when you're a month into dating, it's not really ideal, right? We'll just say that. So what ends up happening is after I announce the breakup, and after I sit there and I make a tweet about it, we ended up being on good terms, right? Because the thing is that we don't harbor any ill will towards one another. We don't hate one another. It was just a thing where it just felt like at that moment, it was just what had to happen, right? At least from my end. So after I announce the breakup, I'm getting shit on by everyone. Everyone. People are saying, damn, you chose to leave your girl for video games. Damn, you chose to sit there and full clear for 12 hours a day instead of having a loving relationship. Damn, you chose 3 winning lanes over a future wife and a future family. It's like, okay, it's the internet. It's going to happen. I got clowned on. It's understandable, right? Especially with the way that I presented things at first. So what ends up happening is everyone's clowning on me. Everyone's, I guess, kind of making jokes about it. It's completely warranted, completely fine. What wasn't fine for me, however, is that a man who paraded himself as being a friend of mine that had my best interests at heart chose to also make light of the situation. And not just make light of the situation, but post a tweet bringing up weeks-old resolved private issues between them two in a way to take a pot shot at her character. Now, when I saw that, I just found it nothing short of disgusting, right? I found it nothing short of horrible that this guy was going to sit there and pretend to be my friend, but then publicly shame her in front of his entire audience because he wanted a private apology. If you wanted a private apology, why didn't you reach out to me? If you wanted a private apology, why'd you go behind my back to every single streamer that we had talked about, right, over the course of years, and say that I was shit-talking them? And to give you a true extent of what shit-talking is classified for him as, I would sit there and I would tell him, yeah, you know, I've been having really weird interactions with Solar Baka recently. If Solar Baka typed in his chat a few days ago, which he did, Tarsane's response was, yeah, Solar Baka, you know Dantes shit-talked you? Tarsane, and it wasn't just limited to the English scene as well, right? Tarsane actually messaged Brazilian content creators, just so you can understand the true level of maliciousness that this man has. He messaged Brazilian content creators that he never talked to, that we were supposed to meet up with and have a group outing with, that me and Laura were privately accusing them of ghosting us. This is the level of deranged, sick man he is, that he is willing to message people he's never even personally talked to, random snippets of information that aren't even that bad, and pretend that it's some kind of statement against who I am. No, it only gets better from here. After I made my tweet response, sitting there and calling him out and saying that he's no friend of mine, he went on to shit-talk me. He went on to stream, right? And if I'm not mistaken, even on Twitter, to talk shit about me, to say things against me, to again call into question my character, and all of these things. Now, when I saw that, I was like, you know what? There's been a lot of times in my life that if people would sit there and they'd shit on me, I'd let it happen for a little while, and only when it got too bad would I really bring it up and start talking about it. But this time, I'll just nip it in the bud. And so, I started releasing tweets as well. If he wanted to bring up my character, I would bring up his. Now, this is where things start to get very weird. Because Tarzan then started announcing that he had some kind of crazy kill shot against Laura and all that stuff. So at one point, I'm sitting there, and while all this drama is unfolding and while it's all happening, I decide, you know what, I'm just going to stream and talk about it. If he wants to sit there and he wants to shit talk me in front of a live audience, right, and give the opportunity for clip channels, for drama channels on YouTube, and for all of these different third-party channels, right, to spread misinformation, right, and spread attacks against my character, then the least I could do is give my side of the story and talk about things as well. And so I sat there and I did a 3-hour stream in which I talked a bit about the breakup, but I mostly talked about how disgusting and vile of a person Tarzan was. Because the truth is that if you truly consider someone a friend, actually, I'll just ask you guys a question. What does it show more in regards to who views who as a friend? A man who is willing to share with you secrets about his life and private information about him, and have his girlfriend, right, also trust you enough to the point that she shares private information with you? Or a man that's willing to go out and the second a falling out happens, leak everything to the public like it's some kind of circus act? Ask yourself, who really viewed who as a friend and who really viewed who for content. Now, if you're starting to think that Tarzan was projecting in all of his attacks against my character, we're only getting started. Let's just say that. So, what ends up happening is while I'm doing this 3-hour video, and the only reason I did it was because at the time he was live shit-talking me as well. He did something like end his stream and then a little bit after go live for 10 minutes ranting and raving crazily, whipping out our DMs, showing everyone everything, leaking absolutely everything, all the while losing his mind. Okay? And he went offline soon after. So what happens is, after this whole thing unfolds, this is when he started announcing his thing about the kill shot and how he has this ultimate nuke against me. And now I want you all to keep in mind, because I've seen a lot of comments about this as well, saying, and I can't believe it is a real thing that they are saying this, but they are saying, Dantes, if you knew that Laura had told Tarzan about your guys' abortion, then why would you ever mess with him? And the truth is that for all I knew Tarzan to be a horrible person, I never, ever, ever thought that he would ever even consider bringing that up. It would be like a family member of his gets diagnosed with some kind of terminal illness, and I bring it up on my stream in front of everyone. It is inhuman to do so. You want to attack my character? Attack mine. But why would you drag her into it? And do you want to know what the most disgusting thing about it all is? Is that while he was live, he was constantly telling me, because at one point I had tweeted about it, saying, you guys know, it's weird because he told me that he had this crazy nuke against her that he was going to use against her, right? And it turned out to be this thing about just that she had talked about me behind my back, apparently. And while he heard that, he said, no, that's not true. It was something else entirely, but I didn't want to say it. So even from weeks ago, keep in mind, he was willing to use the abortion, from what I can assume, and what I'm sure you can all assume, as an attack not against me this time, but against her. So he was going to use the abortion, if it wasn't against me, against her. And the only reason why he turned it into a thing now where he's saying it's against me is because he thinks it makes him look better. So anyways, what happens is that he's sitting there announcing that he has a kill shot, and he goes live on his stream. Okay? He plays an AI-generated diss track. I wish I was trolling. An AI-generated diss track as a 29-year-old man to use against me. And now you might be saying, Dantes, how do you know it's AI-generated? Well, because yesterday at one point, Laura had her brother over, and we actually said that the lyrics looked very weird. And so we went on ChatGPT, right? Look at this. Just so I can show you how crazy it is. And said, make a diss track, right? And use like facets of this to create it. And it legitimately looks bar for bar like exactly the song that he released. Legitimately. Right? Just so you guys can understand like how insane this is. So here we have a 29-year-old man that sits there and decides to do a stream saying that I'm a horrible person, saying that there are girls who are a victim of me, saying that he has an ultimate nuke against me, and the entire time calling into question and also shit-talking my character. Right? So he sits there, plays this diss track, and then goes on to his stream to leak 3-year-old DMs of me, where I was 19 at the time, telling him that I wanted to create a gaming house with Charismai so we could bang some hoes. Now, did I say that? Yes. Am I proud of it? No. At the time, can I give a reasoning for it? Sure. I was like a 19-year-old guy, was just starting to explore the dating scene. And to me, I thought that the whole concept of like sleeping around and stuff like that was a cool concept, so to speak. So I was sitting there and I was like, yeah, dude, like, let's go. Like, we can do some crazy shit. He then went on to leak some more messages in which I talk about how I'm talking to multiple people at a time, talking about how I'm developing multiple emotional connections with multiple different girls at a time, right? And all that kind of stuff. And the truth is, I did do that, right? It's something that at the time I didn't really view as that bad of a thing because from my mentality, and again, this isn't a justification, but rather an explanation. But at the time, the way that I viewed it was that if I always treated them well, and the only thing I did was just never fully commit or never harm them in any kind of way whatsoever, right? Whether it be physically, whether it be like insulting them or things like that, then it's fine, Because for me, I was under the impression that, if you're not committed to someone, then just like they don't owe you any sense of loyalty or stuff like that, you don't owe them any either. Now, that's a mentality that I developed over the course of years, having trust issues, having multiple different talking stages that I was committed to and badly and stuff like that. And it was almost like I became a person that I'm not necessarily proud, or that I'm not proud at all that I became. But in leaking all of his screenshots, Tarzan said that at one point, one of the ones that he leaked was of me saying how I thought that if I found the right girl one day, that I'd 100% be willing to put it all behind me, and that I feel like I could truly step up for the right one. So what ends up happening is he starts leaking all of our messages because that's just the kind of person he is. The same way that he says that I only used him for content, well, he actually used our entire friendship for content. Keep this in mind. While also being the one to cast the first stone against me. So anyways, I'm sitting there and I'm hearing all this, and then I hear him talk about his nuke. Now, for anyone that thinks there might be some kind of secret conspiracy going on behind the scenes, right? I'll be honest about a few things right now. During Tarzan's stream, he was talking a lot against me. He was saying things like how the only reason I wanted to break up with Laura was just so I could go back to my old ways, just so I could go back to my old habits of sleeping around, my old ways of acting and all this kind of stuff. And he was pretty much insinuating that I hadn't changed at all as a person, and that my actions throughout the relationship and showing that I was willing to end things kind of confirmed that. Completely untrue. The second me and Laura stopped talking, right, or broke things off, I went to Cajal's house. And I spent literally 2 days doing nothing but reading comments and talking to Cajal. I didn't even respond to my family. I didn't respond to any friends. I didn't respond to almost anyone. The only thing I did was read comments and talk to Cajal. And at the end of the time with him, I remember Cajal looking at me and saying, "You know what, Dantes? After everything you told me, I think you do really want to get back with her, honestly." And I looked at him and I said, "You know what? I think you're right." Because for me, I think one of the problems wasn't just the issues that we had with our relationship, right? Over the course months and things like that, as well as my way of acting within the relationship, not being able to give enough of myself, like I told you guys. But one of my problems was also the fact that I was thinking to myself, how can I possibly publicly associate with certain people that I know are bad behind the scenes and I know shit talk me behind my back, but then I can sit there and expect myself to almost have a real relationship with a girl that I can truly trust and that truly trusts me and that we love each other, right? How can I sit there and almost live a lie, so to speak, online for hours upon hours every single day, but then be able to turn that off and just be a genuine, real me, right? So a lot of self-identity issues for sure, okay? So anyways, Kajal tells me that, and I tell him, "You know what, I really do think you're right." And that morning is when Laura was we were still messaging and stuff like that, And I was telling her, I was like, you know what, I'm going to be honest, I really think I should go to therapy. I really do think that I want to work on things, and that I want to work on things with you. And if you were to one day accept me back into your life, then I think it is something that I would want, right? And that I would be grateful for having. So the narrative that Tarzan was trying to push of this whole breaking up with her so I could fuck around and sleep around and all that stuff was again just another complete lie, just so you can understand. So, anyways, then Tarzan decides to do the thing that I never even considered he would think about doing. And he decided to bring up the fact that Laura and I, a month into our relationship, had an abortion. It was closer to 2 months in, but it was about a month in when we realized that she was pregnant. And even now, I'm sure that a lot of you guys can relate, right? But I think as a man, there are times where you're going to go through certain experiences and you're going to like almost suppress the emotion, you know? You're going to sit there, you're not going to allow yourself to feel it. You're going to just like go further into your own work, go further into your own hobbies, go further into your own like mind, whatever it is. Just so you can kind of like forget about it, you know? Because the truth is, and I don't even know if this is something that I told Laura, um, but the truth is that back when I was 16, I remember that I would always sit there and, it's always like you're watching the Ben Shapiro, like destroying feminist compilations and stuff like that, right? And I remember that I always believed in the view that, if you're going to sit there and you're going to be willing to have sex, then you should never get an abortion, and you should always like carry through with the child's life because they didn't decide for that to happen. And for me, being literally like 1 month into a new relationship after not being able to truly trust very many people over the course of years, right? And being able to sit there and see where my career was going, right? And sit there and think of how much a child would affect my life, and also knowing the fact that I wasn't ready for one either, because if I had to sit there and put a priority on my career, how could I ever be the proper father of my child? It's just not something that I could do. And in all the time in all the time that it happened, in all the months to come, and in everything that followed, it's something that I never told anyone because the truth was that I was ashamed. How could I sit there and call myself any kind of man if I couldn't even allow a life to be born that was because of mine and my girlfriend at the time's actions? And the only reason why Tarzan knew about it wasn't because I told him, because I had only ever told 3 people. 3. I told my parents, and I told Cadril. And the reason why I told Cadril was because it was just something that I felt like I had to talk to someone about. That if I was truly willing to let my partner go, that maybe for once I should actually bring this up with someone. And the only reason, and Cadril, for what it's worth, after I told him, he was a great guy. Guy's an amazing person. But the only reason why Tarzan knew was because Laura was more open about it than I was. Because it affected her more than it affected me. And that was one of the, I guess, issues that we had in our relationship, is that while I was sitting there and suppressing emotion that I felt for that incident, she was able to actually allow herself to feel it. And I think that's one of the things that created such a disconnect between us, was that she would feel and I would give myself the inability to do the same. So as I was saying, Laura was a little bit more open about it than I was. She talked about it to her friends. She talked about it to people in her circle. And she had talked about it to Tarzan. Because she said, if Dantes has such a high opinion of this man, then who am I to sit here and question it? And since she couldn't really talk to her friends during Brazil, because there was a huge time zone difference, she would instead talk to the people in the group. And who was the person that was a part of that group? Him. And the worst part, too, about this whole situation is the fact that that creature, because I refuse to call him a man, but that creature sat down after she told him and talked to her for 5 minutes about how if information like that were to ever go public, how horrible it would be for the both of us. That creature knew exactly what would happen and knew exactly what the consequence of a general public knowing about it would do. And then he decided to be the one to bring it up. So he sits there and talks about this crazy truth bomb that he has. And he talks about how I mistreated girls in my past. Well, Tarzan, since you wanted to air out everything, why don't we talk about your treatment of girls? Why don't we talk about the day that you met your last girlfriend, right? That you literally had to kick another girl out of your apartment the day of because she was flying in. Why don't we talk about the fact that in Brazil, when you were sitting there and meeting up with a girl consistently that you knew liked you a lot, that you were also on Tinder at the same time, trying to organize meetups with other girls that Laura had to talk you out of doing because she knew it wasn't right. Why don't you talk about those things, Tarzan? Why don't you platform those girls? If you truly are one that wants to stand with the victims as you so claim. And while I know some of you are going to sit there and you're going to say, Dantes, you're only stooping to his level and you're doing all that kind of stuff, maybe to a certain point I am. But I only hope that there are some of you out there that can understand where I'm coming from, that a man that is going to accuse you of being the man that he is and painting you out to be this villain and devil because of the character traits that he himself possesses, how much indignation that would fill you with. So Tarzan on his stream decides to sit there and decides to bring up the abortion. And the problem with me wasn't the fact that he had brought it up. Actually, that was the problem. But it wasn't the only problem I had. The problem was that he lied about it as well. In his exposing of the truth, he sat there and he was insinuating that while she was sitting here in Germany getting it, that I was just folklering on Heckram for 12 hours a day like some kind of heartless monster. Now, I made a tweet about it this morning to clarify that misconception, but just so you guys can all know the truth, what actually happened was that we sat there and we found out about the pregnancy during my second Korea trip. And we said that we would go back to Germany for a few days, that Laura would be able to get the abortion while I'm there with her, right? Because she had talked about it with me, she had talked about her parents, and we just thought it's what would be best. And I told her, I was like, we'll go to Germany, we'll get the abortion, I'll meet all your family as well, and then we can go back to Canada for Christmas. And at the time, I was scheduling my Dantes Invitational tournament, and I was sitting there, and I was already locking in dates. I was sitting there and I was getting together all the rosters, all the teams, everyone. And it just got to a point where for me it felt like the tournament was a locked in thing, and I knew that everyone, thousands, tens of thousands of people were relying on me to organize it and do it, and that hundreds of streamers would be participating and were forming their entire time schedules around it and everything, that for me I felt like it was a tight schedule. So what happens is that we go back to Germany, all the while I'm still organizing everything, trying to figure everything out, but things are starting to really be set in place. And it's then that we found out that she couldn't get it at the time because it was too early in the pregnancy. So we discussed options. We discussed her getting it in Canada, but we weren't sure about that option because if she got it in Canada, then we weren't sure what the repercussions would be since she's not a Canadian citizen. We discussed me flying with her back there to get it. We discussed different methods that it could be done, some which required procedures, some which didn't. And we spent hours, if not even days, talking about alternatives and everything that could happen. So we ended up deciding that it's still a decision that I honestly think I shouldn't have, I guess, made. But in the moment, she was telling me about how, oh, it'll be fine because I have my network with me there. I have my family, I have my friends. Like, you can sit here, just do your tournament. It's okay. We'll call every day. You'll be there for me. If not physically, then emotionally, and it'll be all right. And I said, okay. Because at the time we didn't know the real effect that it would have on either of us. So the invitational starts, she flies to Germany, and then she gets the procedure done. And every single night that she was in Germany, we would spend hours in call. We would sit there, play games, watch shows, watch YouTube videos. We would legitimately, I remember, watch 90 Day Fiancé for like hours and hours and hours every time I would end my streams, just so that we could spend time with each other and all of that. While also me being able to fulfill my obligation that I had to, what I viewed as my obligation to the community, to follow through with the event that I had committed to. And then after the procedure, it was extremely difficult, but she came back to Canada a few days later, and then we were able to spend Christmas with each other and stuff like that. And to have that guy go on his stream yesterday and imply that I was some kind of absentee boyfriend that didn't give a fuck for her, that sat there and just prioritized playing a video game for 12 hours instead of being there. To sit there and hear him lie about a situation that he had no right to even speak on in the first place. Words can't describe the emotions that I felt. So then, before Tarzan had even gone live, me and Laura were talking and we were saying that after my tournament today, I would end stream so that we could actually spend some time talking things over, and that she would come over so we could have chats in person and really discuss things. And it was on her way here that I saw that he was leaking everything. And when I told her that he brought up the abortion, she told me, fuck it, we're going live. Because just like me, she couldn't stand seeing this man bring up something that should have never been brought up, and then sit there and lie about it on top of things. So we went live, we had our stream, where we talked about things, and the worst part is that I rewatched Tarzan's VOD after. And this man was sitting there. Keep in mind, just so you can really understand the kind of person he is. He sat there, and yesterday the VOD was public. Today, after getting cancelled, he made it for subscribers only. Why? So that if you want to look and see what he did, you'd have to pay him for it. Not even that he deleted the VOD. No. He made it for subs only so that he could benefit from it. And the entire time that he was sitting there, and that people were telling him, what the fuck did you do? He was responding with phrases like, it just had to be done. I never asked for Laura's permission, but you know what? If she told it to me, then she must have expected this would happen. I'm sorry, Tarzan, but not everyone views friendships as fake and surface level as you do. That they think that everything told to you privately would be aired out publicly. He was sitting there saying, oh, maybe I am a sociopath, and then later justifying his behaviors because he was mad at me. When the worst part is that the thing that he leaked was something that he was willing to leak over a situation, over something that he was mad at her over. So whether he was mad at her or mad at me, he was willing to leak that situation. Right? As I explained previously. He is a man that sits there and prides himself on a moral standing and a moral compass, when in reality he has absolutely none. He's a man that sits there and prides himself on having character, when in reality he has absolutely none. And then after sitting there and after airing out something that even now I don't even want to think about, because I don't know if I'm ready to confront that emotion yet. But even after he sits there and airs it out, he then went on to say, oh, well, I just did what had to be done and went offline. And the thing is that if it ended there, I wouldn't even be making this video today, or this live stream, whatever you want to call it. The problem is that Tarzan then went on his live on his stream several hours later, while I was still awake, because me and Laura both couldn't sleep, with a title called Dantes' Victims Expose the Truth. Now, you might be asking yourself, but Dantes, if he went live with that title, why is there no VOD of it? Well, see, the thing is, there doesn't exist a VOD of it on his channel, because he deleted it after he realized how bad it made him look. But there is a VOD of it on my screen right now. So without further ado, unlike Tarzan and just sweeping things under the rug or whatever else, without further ado, we are going to react. Without further ado, we are going to react. Without further ado, what the fuck, where is that coming from? React. Without further ado, oh, there we go. Without further ado, we are going to react to his stream. Dantes Victims Speak Up. Now, just as a little preface, I think this was, honestly, I don't even know what to say. It was one of the most ludicrous streams I think I have ever watched in my entire life. It was insane, for lack of better words. Me and Laura were sitting here in complete disbelief at what was going on at the stream, at what was being said, at how it was being presented. And let's just see if you guys are also going to feel the same after we watch it together. And I show you guys also some receipts of my own. Shall we? Let's make the camera a little bit smaller. So keep in mind that even in a case like this, where Tarzan brings up victims speaking out, he is still willing to make a complete mockery out of it by playing Law and Order music, by playing Judge Judy music, And why not a little bit of Taylor Swift as well? So now let's keep watching, shall we? So Tarzan then goes on to go live.
Hello, it's the...
But see, the thing is, he was so afraid to show his face that he decided to bring on another man, the mechanical player, that is so occupied on involving himself in other people's dramas, which is astounding to me because he has a wife and child of his own. I want you to imagine having a wife and child of your own, being in your late 20s, early 30s, and sitting there, and instead of spending time with them, forming memories with your daughter, taking your wife out and going on dates, whatever it might be, that you sit there and decide to participate in this absolute laughingstock mockery of a stream that this was. Let's keep watching.
A mechanical player. I didn't expect it either. The attorney in 1 year is here. That's a surprise. I didn't even know how I walked in here. But I guess now that I'm here, I'm gonna just
Also, I think it's funny to note, just so you guys can understand the extent of Tarzan's shady, underhanded practices and how he really views people behind the scenes, let's actually take a look at Mechanical Player's Twitter for a second, shall we? Because this is where things for me are going to get interesting. Because for a very long time, the things that I would do is I would notice things, but I would never really talk about them. But now I think let's just sit here and let's talk about it a lot, shall we? Give me a second while I go back in time. Okay. Let me find it. Okay. So, just trying to figure out the time that he made a tweet in response to me. Just give me a second. Okay. I think I found it. Alright, so keep in mind that Mechanical Player and Tarzan are people that met each other in real life, right? They are people that have sat there and they have actually interacted with one another in person. Mechanical Player actually showed up on Tarzan's stream, right? And the day that Mechanical Player showed up on Tarzan's stream, he responded to a tweet of mine saying, I fear if Best Heckram is based on rank, Tarzan Huncho Magyu. Good luck on rank 1 though, or 1.2 KLP. Now, don't you guys find it a little bit strange that someone that's friends, right, with a person is going to sit there and comment this under their supposed friend's tweet, right? So that's when I knew that things were going on, that Tarzan was talking behind my back, right? Besides the fact that I was literally giving screenshot evidence that he did, just to give you a little bit of insight on who this guy is. But now, let's actually watch the stream, shall we?
going for it. So, let's go talk to these ladies. Okay?
I'm waiting for it.
Now, a lot of people think I hate women. I do not. So, let's go hear their story.
Thank you, Jay.
See, so, I mean, the crazy thing is that, I'm going to be honest, I don't even think people know that this guy existed. But he's sitting here and advertising himself as this, self-proclaimed... I don't even know what this is.
Hello!
Hi.
I am here.
Hello.
How are all of you?
So just as, I guess, context, he is currently in a Discord call with 4 people that I was previously romantically involved with.
Good.
Good.
We're good.
So, I'm gonna pop this out. And do you want to be on cam? Scoochie?
Yeah, sure. I'll
Okay.
be on cam today.
Awesome. Here we are. So, obviously everyone knows me as Tarzan's friend.
Okay.
Okay? Everyone knows me as Tarzan's friend. I am going to take no opinions during this.
Okay.
Okay? There's
No
going to be
problem.
absolutely no opinions on this. I'm just going to ask some questions, and I'm going to let them speak. And we're going to go forward with what we're going to do.
Okay.
So, here we go. I have to keep it down, though. I don't want to wake up my wife. So,
Okay.
that was my bad.
problem.
Completely
No,
insensitive.
you're
The,
no, you're good.
But here we go. So, I did have a question. So there was a part, and we can pull up the tweets if the chat wants to, but I mean, come on, guys, it's just out in the open. Where Dantes said that he didn't want to, like, his career was very important and all these things. Did Dantes ever drop stream early to come see any of you? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Who's
He
speaking?
did for me.
I admit, several times a month, I would get horny, and I would drop stream early to meet up with girls. I'm guilty.
Lemon.
Lemon. Okay, awesome. Just wanted to quickly ask that one through. And I want to clarify something because today's nuke that Tarzan posted was very intense. A lot of people.
So this is him talking about the Tarzan nuke, which was mine and Laura's abortion.
We're very upset over it. I personally, I don't want to give my opinion on it because I have a daughter that's going to be born in 2 months. I'm going to keep out of the opinions on it. And I'm doing everything I can to make sure she doesn't die when she has surgery. So I'm staying out of it, okay? But obviously, Tarzan's very impulsive. It's been a huge issue of his content.
So sits here and justifies Tarzan's behavior.
Tarzan is one of the most impulsive people in the entire league scene, and he's very retaliatory. That's why whenever...
But see, so like this is the most disgusting thing about it. Saying Tarzan is retaliatory is nothing short of a lie, considering the fact that Tarzan is the one that provokes almost every single drama that he's ever been a part of. In this one, he provoked it, and the Tarzan versus Yasuo one, he provoked it by constantly bringing up Yasuo's ex. In the Tarzan versus I Will Dominate one, he provoked it. And the old season Tarzan versus TF Blade one, he provoked it by bringing up the fact that TF Blade bought an account. So I don't think it's that he's retaliatory. I think it's the fact that he instigates. But let's keep watching.
Where he feels slighted, he will hammer back as hard as he fucking can. And that's a flaw. I don't feel like that needs to be stated more than that. But either way, it's a huge flaw. He really fucked up. If you hit hashtag Tarzan, hey, Yasuo, I'm not you. And I'm Lebanese, I'm not Palestinian.
Keep in mind that imagine Tarzan is supposed to do a stream for the victims, and in doing so brings on a guy on his stream that makes it all about himself. Does anyone understand how insane this is? This guy is legitimately making the entire stream about himself. Sitting here talking about reading chat, reading comments, sitting there and doing all these things. It's a little bit insane, isn't it? But it's for the victims. Right, Tarzan?
So, I'm just going to do Tarzan. Okay? So, I'm going to make this clear that he really fucked up. He went really hard at it. He was very impulsive. He went for this.
So see, the thing is that how can you possibly say Tarzan was impulsive when he was threatening me, right, with the nuke for 3 weeks? He was threatening me with the knowledge that he had of mine and Laura's abortion for 3 weeks. Is it really impulse that caused him to drop it? Ask yourself that question.
I personally have I personally have my own feelings about this, but no one can deny it. I mean, if you just look at any Twitter, it's pretty obvious. So, I'm also much taller than you, Yasuo, just FYI. So, I'm 6'7". The thing I want to hammer, though, is that this was something very private. He pulled Laura into this. This is something that Tarzan knows deep down was way too far.
So Tarzan knows deep down that it was way too far, but he was sitting on the information for 3 weeks, threatening me, blackmailing me with the fact that he knew a nuke about me for 3 weeks. But deep down, he knew that it was too far? I don't think so. Let's stop with the excuses.
It was fucking unbelievable. Okay? And that's how it goes. That's what it is. And he's going to have to face up to that.
I mean, listen, if you want to sit here and make jokes, I'll make a small joke. I think I'd rather have Hum's fucking like screenshot of him and a lawyer argue a case better than this guy. And this guy's going to be one in a year. Isn't that crazy?
Doing a public statement tomorrow. So although I am going to hit him a little bit on this, I'm going to let his statement speak for itself when it comes to the time of it. 6'7"'s a lie. That guy needs to be banned. My God. Don't lie about me. So, I'm just saying, I'm a little bit taller. So, we're going to keep going on this. Tarzan really fucked up. That's why he's not here. He's really taking time to reflect because...
So, Tarzan's really taking time to reflect, but there was a message in his chat called !Tarzan saying, Tarzan is taking the day off of streaming. He'll be live again tomorrow with a statement. Huh. I guess Tarzan wasn't the man that he was 5 minutes ago.
He just completely outed someone's private life. And although it does reflect on Dante's character, obviously, it also reflects on Tarzan's character. Just as heavy, if not heavier.
Keep in mind what he just said. He said this whole situation reflects on Tarzan and Dantes' character equally, if not a little more Tarzan's fault. Keep in mind after everything I just said, by the way. And keep in mind that Tarzan chose this man as his spokesperson. Keep this in mind.
So, that's the reality of it. Let's get some questions, or do you want to keep
Yeah,
going?
you can ask
Awesome.
questions, no problem.
I just want to be polite. I don't want to tread, you know what I mean? So,
Let's watch.
with your conversations with Laura, so there was a tweet on Dante's, I think 2 days ago, although I fear I might be blocked. No, I'm not. The,
I don't know you, bro.
the Scorched Earth tweet, I'm just going to pull it up for everyone to see. This was at a little bit of a Bible, but that's okay.
It took me 2.5 hours to write that.
18 a.m. June 21st. When did you last talk with Laura? Like, did you guys talk with her before this tweet? Because this seems very related to you guys.
Yes, we did actually. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna
So,
go
if there's one thing that I want to talk about, it's when it comes to Laura and the girls from my past. You have to understand that the majority of these girls have been harassing her for months. The majority of these girls have been constantly DMing her old screenshots. They've been commenting shit under her reels. They've been sitting there directing hate towards her for literal months. And she dealt with that for literally no reason other than the fact of she chose a guy that had a bad history, right? Keep this in mind. And when I made Laura aware of my past and of the people I had slept with and all that stuff, the amount and all of that, it was during the Korea trip that we were on together. And one of the first things that she ever told me was, I'm going to be honest, Dantes, you fucked up. And she helped me realize, right, the things that I went through in this tweet that allowed me to acknowledge that at the end of the day, getting girls emotionally attached to you, but then just using a thing of, yeah, but we can't be exclusive, haha, isn't really a good enough excuse, right? So she's always been the kind of person that's like held me accountable for my own actions and stuff. And I came to agree with her. I came to accept, right? And yeah.
check this timestamp. Yeah, we talked at 10:40 p.m. and
On
the
June
call
20th?
lasts on June. We talked on
Or June 19th?
June 20th, 2024. Lemon started a call that lasted 1 hour, 10:40 p.m. So yes, we did talk to her before this tweet was written, I guess.
Yeah. So, I just wanted to clarify that up. So do you believe that Laura was feeding information to him, or no?
100, I believe so.
Okay, so you think they're
So-
very coordinated in this?
I would assume.
So the big conspiracy is that Laura was telling me, Dantes, I'm going to be honest, some of these girls genuinely feel hurt and you really should apologize to them. But as we get further into the video, and as I showed her certain screenshots of our DMs yesterday, even she came to realize that these girls aren't actually the victims that they paint themselves to be. Let's keep watching.
Assume so, just because of the fact that it's interesting how he would have never even mentioned this sort of thing. And the only reason why I believe so is because she mentioned it to us in the voice call that Dante supposedly felt sorry for his wrongdoings in the past and wants to, he knows what he did was wrong. And Laura was telling Dantes that he needs to, either apologize to us or whatever, right? Or make a tweet about it, which also is kind of a little insensitive because not everyone has Twitter and not every single one of the girls that he was involved with.
Yeah, I think it's also a little bit insensitive that you were harassing Laura for literal months just because I didn't want to date you because you're a bad person. But we'll get into that later.
Is probably going to be following his Twitter anyways, so I don't really see how tweeting is going to fix it. And
let's just say, just to, I guess, like, hype things up a little bit, right? Because they wanted to make this a whole theatrical show. Let's just say, guys, that if they wanted to bring receipts and bring screenshots of conversation, I'm more than willing to do the same.
She was saying that he was going to talk about it, and weirdly enough, a few hours later, a tweet gets put out right before we were able to say anything, so it's just a little fishy, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's... I would say yes to your question.
So, good. Now, I'm just going to ask a few more things. So, we heard some stuff about Laura. I just want to get to the meat of it. Dantes goes on his tweet. I'm not going to pull up the tweets. They're way too long, guys. I'm not going to read it through. I'm sorry. I'm going to lose my mind. So, he said that he met most people at the hotel. Were you all met at hotels, or like what was the nature of your relationship? Anyone who wasn't a hotel, speak up.
We were all at hotels. However, I did at the end of the trip. I was inside of his house, and I visited his home. I saw his elementary school, his high school. I met his dog. I briefly met his brother.
So the story was right that there was a hotel in my hometown, right? And when girls would fly out to see me, I would cover the entire expenses of the hotel. I would cover all the expenses of the dates. If we'd ever Uber, I'd cover absolutely everything, no matter what. I would pay for everything except the flights. That's all I didn't pay for, okay? And since it was in my hometown, I thought that it would be cool date ideas, right? To sit there and just walk around places that were like part of my life, because just that would be interesting, right?
Okay,
so
and
yeah.
just to clarify, I'm gonna pull some pictures up. This is you, correct? I don't think you can see it, but you'll see it in like 20
Wait,
seconds.
you want me to?
But it is. I promise you, it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
This is so strange.
Let's see. We have a picture of you. Is this at your... Actually, I'm going to share my screen as well on Discord so we can have a little bit more of a... Yeah, I don't want to be stupid. Now, Jen.
You.
And we're going to go through this. Do you see this now?
Yes,
Let's make
I
it
see
better.
it now.
Awesome.
Yes.
And okay, perfect. So this is you, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Could you explain this picture? Exhibit A.
Exhibit A. He took me out on a nice breakfast date and paid for it.
That was a cafe breakfast that he took me to.
Okay, some brekkie. And we have this. I think
Exhibit B. He took me out on a nice date at the mall.
that's you and him.
Yes,
gonna
that's me
assume.
and him. We went to the mall together, yes.
Now, I think this is breakfast again.
Exhibit C. He took me for breakfast out again and paid for it. And it tasted good.
Yeah. That's the lake by the hotel that he took me to.
Yep. And then this is, I'm guessing this is a dinner date.
Exhibit D. A scenic view of the hotel that we stayed at and exhibit whatever we're at right now, us on a date in a plaza.
Yes, and there's actually a very funny thing, Lemon, if you wanna
Guys, get ready though. I'm about to be a really bad man. Wait for it.
speak up about this, it would be
Yeah.
great.
That like plaza, he also took me to on a dinner date around the same time.
Exact same.
Yeah.
Caught. There's a plaza that has multiple different restaurants, and I thought that the food tasted good at them, so I would bring girls that I would take out on dates to that plaza because I liked the food at those restaurants. Caught.
Place. So he took
Yep.
her to this one as well. I went to the Mexican
We
restaurant.
went there too. What the fuck, freak? Yeah, but okay, no, but Laura, I'm like 99% sure that the ones. Fuck. No, listen. I'm like 99.9% sure that the ones that we went to, I didn't take them to, because it would be like, okay, whatever. Anyways, let's keep going.
That's nice. She went to the Italian, I think.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
Italian.
those are great food choices, honestly. I don't see a problem with that.
Honestly, like kind of gas.
But-
That's me and his plushie that
So-
he loves to
I knew that.
do
Yeah.
things with on.
Yeah.
Twitter.
I'm just gonna move this to this side, and then I think are you at his house? Isn't that his plush?
Yeah, that's his house.
Okay.
That's his house. That's his wall. And that's
That's his dog.
Yes.
And this is you?
Yes.
So now we're gonna get into the screenshots. All right. Perfect. Okay. So since she wanted to leak screenshots, right? I'll do the same as well. So I was talking to this girl because she wanted to make things personal. I can do the same. I was talking to this girl for several weeks, right? We had met up. After meeting up for the first time, she sent me screenshots of her flirting with another man. Screenshots of them. And then because he didn't want her anymore, she sent them to me as a testament of her loyalty. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, huh? Hey, Angel, hi. You're cute. Where are you from? I'm from the US. Adam thought Europe, US is far. Right? Hi with 20 exclamation marks. Cool. Adam thought Europe, US so far. I know, I'm just an American. Bit too far away, yeah, sorry. So she sent me those screenshots, and I was like, are you retarded? If you want to talk to other people, go for it. But why are you going to sit here and like send that to me as a testament of your loyalty when he was the one that broke things off after you were interested? And then she went on and on and on and sent paragraphs upon paragraphs upon paragraphs about how she's just a girl. No, actually, you're a witch. Let's keep watching.
That's me sending a screenshot of finding Laura, who I was just a little confused because he didn't really mention anything, and then I just wanted to like.
Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, so like if you guys want to see like what my DMs with these girls would look like after, I'll leak it. After sending me those screenshots, the difference is I'm actually loyal. And I was under the impression that I won't be going off running around hooking up with people because I thought you were special enough to stay committed in a non-relationship. So did you fuck her? Answer. Bruh, what? Imagine me if you want to get angry, getting home from a fucking 6-game loss streak and having to sit there and read this shit. Sitting there after a 6-game loss streak and having to read this shit. But let's keep going. Don't fucking lie. Actually, do not lie anymore, please. You don't know what this did to me. You don't. Don't act like you do because you don't get it, did you? How can you say you're loyal when you're legit egging on that guy to DM you and meet up? No. Okay? Nice. So, let's do it.
Figure out like who is this person, because I was sent a screenshot of this actually by my IRLs, and they were like, hey, like, weren't you literally just talking to him? And I'm like, yeah, I mean we were, but we weren't, like we were kind of like talking, but I didn't really know who.
Yeah, she wasn't sent the screenshot by her IRLs. She would stalk all my shit for hours upon hours a day because I was the biggest fish that she could catch because she's a social climber. Sorry to say. Let's keep going.
This person is, and then he said she's another streamer that streams at the same place I do, though I don't think I'm gonna enter another committed relationship anytime soon.
Perfect screenshot. Let's bring up the after. Oh, so you can just go and fuck her behind my back? See, you say you're detached, but I'm hearing excuses for your behavior. If I'm not attached to you in any way, why the fuck would I not pursue stuff with others? What? I'm so under the impression that you know I have feelings for you, and I'm under the impression I'm still someone to you, considering you care about shit. You know, Dantes, I at least am someone that's been upfront and honest about everything I've done so far, and I don't hide anything. But to me, you hid everything. No, I'm not gonna fucking go and air this out online for no reason.
Oh my.
I'm going to lose. Please, me, I need this.
My reaction.
My mom is
honestly.
kind of homeless.
At this point, my reaction.
I live with my dad.
My reaction, honestly. I'm not gonna go and fucking air this out online for no reason. This is private. Okay. But you're gonna go on Tarzane's stream several hours after the fact that he leaked mine and Laura's abortion to sit there and to go after me. But yeah, no, you're not gonna air this online. So then here I say, I didn't hide anything. I told you legit before going to Europe that I didn't view this things the same anymore and was just gonna do me. Obviously, I'm not gonna randomly DM you that I'm sleeping with other people to make you feel like shit. You know, like, okay. Let's keep watching.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
She called you a German? Yeah, wait, hon. Let me see the other screenshot. Where is it? Oh, yeah. So you guys know how earlier I hit her with the bruh what, right? So earlier I hit her with the bruh what? Now I hit her with the dude. Glad you actually found a whore in Germany for yourself when all I ever did was sit here. You know how embarrassing it is for me when the people who know my situation are laughing at me saying, oh, he definitely fucked this girl, and you just look stupid for still thinking you ever meant anything. Wait, hold on a second. Didn't you say you were going to keep it private? Why are there multiple people that know about your situation? Anything more than an international booty call, and I said, no, I can prove you wrong. He wouldn't do something like that. There's no way, and you are here proving that right, and I'm the dumbass. Dude, I'm just disappointed in myself for actually believing that I really wasn't just a fuck doll. I'm just retarded. No, like I am, truly. She types after she literally sent me screenshot evidence herself that she was flirting and having intentions to meet up with other men.
Again, I'm just asking these questions.
Imagine calling someone you don't know a whore because you're mad at a guy. No, so that's the worst thing. When they were talking to Laura, they were saying that one of the things that they had an issue with was the fact that I called a disgusting whore a disgusting whore. I'm not going to take that back. The fuck? But the fact that she's willing to sit here and she's willing to fucking use that same terminology and language. The fuck is this shit? You know?
Not looking for any drama in my life, but I fear that may not be the case. So,
Do
strawberry.
you want the screenshots?
Strawberry, how we doing?
That's okay. I can copy
I'm
on
doing
them.
good, you.
Okay, so we have the first one. We have Angel, Strawberry, and Lemon. Brother, it sounds like I go to a fucking strip club with these names, no? Like, Angel, Strawberry, and Lemon. What's next? Fucking watermelon, grapefruit, and fucking, like, who knows, like, Minecraft desert biome? Is the fucking tundra biome gonna come out next? God damn. Let's keep going, though.
So, here we go. Here's this,
Brings out a screenshot of a strawberry. So then what this girl, the story with this girl, right, is that she actually had a Tinder account. And before we met, she actually was following my brother, and he was following her as well, because they met on Tinder. I think that's a little important for the lore. Let's keep going. I'm actually gonna fucking murder you. What? And she sent a video of like me with Laura. There's no way that popped up on your For You page when I had 30 likes. Worst part is I never fucking see you except this. It was a random content thing because she's another streamer here. How could I know it's for content? That's all. So this is when I'm going to sit here and I'm going to take a little bit of accountability, right? Because at that time, me and Laura hadn't slept with one another, but I had asked Laura out on a date. I could have 100% been more forthcoming and been like, hey, you know, I actually asked her on a date, yes. And I could have done all that, right? But I mean, listen, if she was going to sit there, and as she later on goes to explain, and she's going to post thirst traps on Viesco, she's going to have Tinder accounts and all that stuff, and not let me in on any of that, then I just viewed it as, if your dating life is secret for you, then why won't mine be for me? Let's continue.
is this a DM between you two?
Yep. So like above the first text, well, I sent him a screenshot of the TikTok of him and Laura on my For You page, and well, that's what he told me. Pretty much the same thing. So
Keep
yeah,
in mind that by this point, I had literally known the girl for like less than 2 weeks. Actually, it might have even been a week. Because the story was that I was at my grandma's house paying my grandma a visit, and then I saw that she had DM'd me on Instagram. I responded, and then within like 30 minutes, I was driving to her place, and we met up for like a date or some shit, right? And I don't know, dude, like, I don't know, bro. It's like, we had known each other for literally like, what, a week and a half or some shit? So, like, what do you want me to say? Let's keep going.
because he didn't warn me or anything before, so that was just a really good surprise.
Mm-hmm. And
And then 10 days later, after being a little bit more reserved and more cold over a few days because I was starting to develop more feelings with Laura, I messaged her. I just wanted to be completely honest. While I've been in Germany, there's this person I started seeing over this last weekend especially, and I think it might go serious. I just thought I'd let you know since I won't be able to meet up when I'm back home because of it. Just know that it isn't anything about you, and it's not like you could have or should have done anything differently. It's just more of a time/place thing. Okay, let's keep going.
talk about this. I'm just letting you guys say your story. I'm not trying to get any deeper into this than what the story is.
Yeah, like a week
So-
later, I think, like after the stream, that's what he sent me, and I just assumed it was her because like I don't know who else it could have been. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So just to reiterate, that's Strawberry side. Laura was a random streamer, but became into more. I'm not hating. I'm not putting a judgment on this at all.
That's it? No. Keep watching. It gets funnier.
Is what it is. So that's essentially. I feel like. Is there anything else that?
There is one thing that I will admit 100% fault for. and I do truly want to apologize to the community for this. Instead of responding to the people asking me for Hecarim builds, and for the people that were messaging me being like, hey man, nice content, I was responding to e-girls. So as a sincere apology to all of you guys, right, that sat there and had your DMs curved because I was too busy DMing social climbing e-girls, I want to genuinely take complete accountability and apologize and say I am truly sorry that I didn't put you guys first, because obviously I should have, right? So let me just put that out as a formal apology. Let's keep watching.
That you guys want to say in terms of your stories of like anything that happened?
I mean, I'm sure we all do. So probably the most disturbing thing that I found out, that I had no knowledge of,
Okay.
has to do with Lemon, actually. So I started talking to him. The first DM I sent to him was August 17th because he was in Korea. And then he immediately opened up with, like, you need to see me, blah, 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 whatever. So I was like, you know what, we'll give it like a couple weeks and then I'll see him on September 1st. And then I planned a trip September 1st to the 3rd. And, you know, I mean, I asked him, like, hey, like, are you talking to people? Like, he's like, no, but I'm not looking for a relationship right now. So I was like, okay, no problem.
Well, okay. I mean, listen, I don't remember that, right? But I find it a little bit interesting that she was willing to show screenshot evidence earlier, but now she can't find a screenshot of her asking me explicitly, are you talking to other people? While also keep in mind, 2 weeks after that, she was kind of DMing other dudes and wanting to meet up with them as well. But we don't have to talk about that.
Then I also asked him about his, like, previous, like, you know, history with women, if you are picking up what I'm putting down. And he said that the last girl that he was with, like, that intimately, was about, like, a month ago or, like, a couple weeks ago.
That's true, because the thing is that while I was in Korea, I was on my incel arc. Because I heard stories that apparently, like, Korean girls are, like, a little weird, right? And that if you sleep with them, sometimes they'll do, like, false accusations and shit. So I was like, you know what? For once, it's time to be on my fucking incel arc. So I was fucking, like, incel maxing in Korea. And I was, like, going crazy on the streams and shit. And then I was alcohol maxing. And then after that, I went home and, yeah, a little bit of a demon run for 2 weeks. I'll just say that. But, yeah, let's keep going.
And she wasn't, like, anything serious, and I was like, oh, okay, no problem, I understand, just because for the sake of everyone, like, you should disclose that information. So I went to his house and then went to the I went to the hotel, and then the house was at the end of the trip, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And then I left, only to find out now today, or a few days ago, sorry, that he was lying. And he didn't tell me that he was actually sleeping with Lemon 2 days before me, and then a day before me arriving, and then also sleeping with her after.
I mean, okay, maybe a little bit of a caught moment, but when she asked me, did you sleep with anyone else? The truth was, no, I didn't. But then I went home and, yeah, I did. And obviously, I'm not going to randomly DM her and be like, yo, just slept with another girl, haha, you know? So, yeah, I mean, like, when she asked me, it was true, but then it stopped being true. And then she just, like, never asked me again, so I didn't bring it up again, right? So, yeah, it is what it is.
I've never in a million years thought that someone would lie and tell me that he's not doing that.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, technically I didn't lie, you know? So like, that's the whole thing is that, and again, I'm not, like, trying to justify it. I'm just merely giving you guys explanations as to why I did the things I did. Because, I mean, you can clearly see when I would take these girls out a lot of the time, I'd always treat them respectfully, respect all of their boundaries in every single way. I would pay for all the dates. I would try my best to be a proper gentleman, right? And mentally, right, one of the things that I guess was kind of wrong with me and had been wrong with me for years was that I thought to myself, in a way, almost like I can't wait until this girl shows her true colors and she ends up being like kind of evil, and then she can miss out on what she, or she'll know that she's missing out on what she could have had, you know? So it's like I would sit there, I'd be like this, I mean, like gentleman, you know, all that stuff. And then they would sit there, they'd fuck me over. And then from like one day to the next, I'd go from being this like nice, caring, sweet guy. And then it would just be one word answers hitting her with the dude and the bro what, you know? I feel like that's something that a lot of people can relate to. And if you can't relate to it, consider yourself blessed, because the modern dating pool is really fucking horrible. So if you're not a part of that, then good for you, honestly.
Now I feel like that's kind of incredibly disrespectful and also irresponsible, because adults should disclose that. It was just kind of extremely immature, and also kind of made me feel really awful inside, knowing that he could just look at me and tell me, oh, like, there's no other, like, partners like that right now, when in reality, she was one.
Yeah, and
But the thing is, there's
um,
more. But there's more. There's more than just Lemon. The problem is...
Yeah, are you going to get into the fact that after I broke things up with you, you started being in cahoots with the girl that cheated on me that I was in a relationship with like 3 years ago or 2 years ago at this point, and that you guys tried to permanently stalk me, find out information on the people I'd be meeting up with, trying to sit there and fucking like find out literally all their things that they would use, like, you know what I mean? Like, are they going to bring that up as well? We'll see.
Is that he was also doing... He was basically sleeping with a bunch of people and not really telling anyone, like, hey, like, I'm having partners. So he was hiding that from us.
I mean, I'll be like, do I think the I love yous and the things like that?
So this is again something that I will 100% take accountability for, and it's the fact that I didn't want to be in a relationship because I hated commitment, but I loved being in talking stages, because it's almost like there was a certain part of me that said, like, it's kind of cool that you can feel the same way that you can feel in a relationship and sit there and, like, I guess, like, share experiences or like talk with these people or stuff like that, but you don't actually have to trust them, because if they fuck you over, it's on to the next, you know what I mean? And I will agree that that's a bad mentality to have, and I will agree that it wasn't the way I should have been, and that I should have been upfront and honest from the start. I should have never seeked, right, these like this like emotional investment in them when I knew that I didn't want to commit, because I didn't even trust 95% of them. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was something that happened. It's a part of my past, and I'm just glad that it's in the past at this point. You feel the same with talking stages as relationships? No, not like that. So what I mean by that is, I mean that it's like you can sit there and be like, damn, like, I can talk to this person and feel like really chill. You know what I mean? Like, I can sit there, talk to this person and feel really chill, but it's like it doesn't go beyond the superficial. So you're playing with the, or not really you're playing, but it's almost like you're sitting there and you're able to share emotions, right, that are surface level, but you're not sharing actual deeper connections, because deeper connections open you up to hurt. Does that make sense? Because if it's just an emotion can be experienced by anyone, but a deep connection, like something like trust or stuff like that, is something that I wasn't even willing to broach and to look into. And even when I started dating Laura, it took me a little while before I really started to feel the foundations of trust set in, right? So that's the thing I want to say.
Are a bit extra, yeah.
Yeah.
But I will
yes.
say, you know, and I do think though the audience is going to, you know, really give him props for his Riz. I know they like Riz and Rizzler.
I mean, I just want to say, like, is it really a surprise to people that a guy that in part got well known because of being the Rizzler had Riz? You know what I mean? Like, that's like the craziest thing. Tarzan should have titled this stream "Exposing the Rizzler for having Riz" at this point. You know? It's like, yes, I know that there is more about it. You know, there's like the whole emotional connection, the whole emotional attachment. But to be honest, right, these girls that he brought on this stream, right, these girls that he brought on this stream in particular, They were literally just doing it for attention. They were either misconstruing the story, lying about it, or just outright not showing the full story to make it seem like I was, in actuality, a way worse guy than I was, right? Brother, you are dating girls named after fruits. You are not the Rizzler. Yeah, as long as they don't bring in passion fruit, I'll be okay.
But either way, it is what it is. So did it feel, it sounds as if there's some type of trend now of that, simply that when he kind of gets what he wants, he moves on. And listen, like...
So it's less about when I get what I want, I move on, right? Because the truth is that for as long as I feel an emotional attachment, or some kind of like thing, like an emotional exchange, if you want to call it that, why would I just like move on? It was more of a thing of when these girls would show their true colors and when they would do things that would demonstrably be, I guess, like things that I would view as complete and utter red flags, that I'd say, yeah, I'm just not going to bother, right? Because the thing is, I was waiting for the girl that wouldn't have those like trust-like red flags and shit like that, which I ended up finding. So, yeah. It wasn't impossible to find, just like a very long time.
There is a saying, all's fair in love and war. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be...
Yeah, dude. This guy's sitting here at 3 a.m. while his pregnant wife sleeps in bed quoting fucking Sun Tzu while he interviews an e-girl cloud chaser on Discord. It's okay. Let's keep going.
Be a complete liar here, but I do think there is a level as well of when you're just telling people you love them and then dropping the next day, it's a bit different. But
so it wouldn't be dropping them the next day, because there are some situations where I can look back on and say I was really shitty. There truly are. Because the one thing about me is that I was always really bad at the idea of letting go, right? So that's why for a long time it would be that even when I would sit there and... Because this is why it would be so weird for me, is because I would tell myself, and I used to tell myself, well, the thing is, I'm not actually like mistreating any of them because I'm doing everything that a good guy should do. The only thing is I'm not giving them a relationship. I'm not giving them trust, you know? And that's why I guess did what I did for as long as I did, was because I didn't view myself as any kind of evil guy, because I was just like, you know what? I'm just kind of sitting here, right? And doing these things, but I'm not going about it in like this super awful way, right? And now it's after thinking about a lot that I'm realizing that the problem with that is that, let's say you sit there and you're going to talk to, I don't know, imagine 500 girls, right? 450 of them to maybe even 480 or 490 of them, having that mentality is going to save you from being hurt from them. But the problem is that mentality is going to make it so that 20 to 50 of the 500 that might have had genuine intentions are now going to be hurt because of you. So it's almost like you're sitting there and you're putting this protection over yourself that will protect you against the vast majority, but in doing so, you will end up hurting a minority as well, right? And that's the thing that made me realize that it's like pretty bad. And the reason why I'm willing to sit here and joke about this situation is because this girl was a part of the big majority, right? Where she was just another one that if I would have given it a chance, it would have ended up in complete and utter ruin for me. But there were a few out there where I do genuinely sit there and look back and I'm like, shit, you know? And I do genuinely sit there and sometimes, you know, you're just in the shower thinking like, damn, did I really have to do that? So that's what I will say.
You guys can respond to that any way you will.
Yeah.
And just let me know about it. But
I mean, I'm just gonna speak on after like, I mean, this is just my perspective, but you're gonna hear the other girls' perspectives and how this is not okay, because you don't tell a girl that you love her and then you want to meet with her and do a bunch of other stuff, and then
well said and thank you.
That
yeah,
there's
of course.
like no one else, but in reality, there are other people, because that's basically just playing them. Sure, you are not in a committed relationship with these women, but in a way you're based...
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to interrupt. Is it okay if I interrupt? If you want to keep going, please keep going. No, please. Can I interrupt? Like, can I?
This is my lawyer, dog. You know what I mean? Like, imagine Tarzan literally sitting there and doing what he did and seeing the consequence of his actions, and then he brings this guy on as his lawyer, and this is
Please
what he
keep going.
sees.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to interrupt. Is it okay if I interrupt? If you want to keep going,
Yeah.
please keep going. No, please. Can I interrupt? Like, can I do a different thing? So you guys weren't in a committed relationship. Did he ever expect exclusivity from any of you then, if you're not in a committed relationship?
Essentially, he didn't.
Essentially, yeah. I expected exclusivity, guys, in the sense that when a girl would sit there and tell me, hey, this other guy's DMing me, I would say, cool, I'm not as interested anymore. Sorry?
Want us to really.
Uh,
He would get he definitely wouldn't want you talking to other people, and if he found out you were even
So this is the thing, is that I never explicitly, for the life of me, can I remember, never did I tell a girl, you cannot talk to other men. Never. It was just a thing where if they sat there and if they did, to me, I would be like, damn, that kind of like reveals their nature. And then you're going to sit there and you're going to say, yeah, but Dantes, weren't you doing the same? Let's just say in the wise words of a quote guy, he who battles with monsters must take care lest he become one of them. And for a long time, I became one of them. But I'm reforming, so yeah.
one story that would be a problem for him, but he was.
But did he ever
banging other
outright say
girls.
it? Did he ever outright say?
I know
like,
that there's some girls in here that have had that said. I believe. I don't know. I know he didn't say that specifically to me.
Yeah, like, so see? Look, listen. Is everyone listening? Listen.
Would be a problem for him, but he was.
But did he ever
banging other
outright say
girls.
it? Did he ever outright say?
I know that there's some girls in here that have had that said. I believe.
Your Honor, he murdered someone. Did he tell you? Well, no, but I mean, like, maybe he might have said it at a bar or something. Okay.
I don't know. I know he didn't say that specifically to me.
I think strawberry.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he basically like.
Oh, okay. Wait, guys. So, oh wait, I think he told Strawberry. Oh fuck, guys, I'm caught. Wait for it.
He would. I think one time he shot on me because I posted a thirst trap to him on my Vesco.
I posted a thirst trap to him on my Vesco. Babe, don't get mad. The reason I posted my cock on my Instagram story is because I wanted you to see it. Like, do you guys understand now why Tarzan had to delete this VOD?
And like the day after I saw him, and he was getting mad because I was getting notifs on my phone when we were calling. So.
Oh, wait. When we were calling, I was hearing her phone going off permanently. And I was like, oh, are you messaging someone or something? Damn. Dantes really is a horrible guy. He sits there and finds it a little strange if your notifs are constantly blowing up while you're on the phone with him, and if you're going to post a thirst trap on a public social media platform while you're talking to him. And not that he finds it weird, but that he'll just be a little less interested in you because of it. Because I would, and for the life of me, I can promise you that I would never sit there for any of these girls and be like, you fucking disgusting piece of shit, or anything like that. And that's the reason why there isn't any screenshots of it, because it doesn't exist. And if it did exist, it'd have a timestamp of 4:62 p.m. written by a person named Gromp. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm trying to explain to you guys, is that I don't know, the fact that this is even like something is insane to me.
He was thinking it was boys, so yeah.
Do you have a screenshot of that or no?
Yes, I think I do. Give me a second.
Oh, wait, guys, there's a screenshot. I'm caught. Wait.
Okay, I'll give you a second on that. And Lemon, there was no issue of exclusivity with you, right?
Yeah.
There was never an expectation or anything.
No, he never talked to me about anything like that. It never
Okay.
came up.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. The
Dude.
No.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. The,
Like, guys, I was sitting in my chair yesterday, hearing this shit, genuinely howling with laughter. This is my lawyer, dog. You know what I mean? This guy's gonna be a full-blown attorney in a year. Like,
just making sure. And what do you call it? So, do you have the screenshot, Strawberry? I know I'm kind of asking on a quick nose.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Okay.
Give me a sec.
oh,
just
guys.
sent it to you.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Type 1 if you think it's about to be the nail in the coffin for me.
Just gonna pull that up here. Why would you get heartbroken?
So, I would tell her, I don't really feel like talking to you that much anymore because I feel like if I do, I'll get heartbroken. CBA. Why would you get heartbroken? Gut feeling. And that means if I'm the one who gets attached, I'll get heartbroken. Your gut feeling's wrong. What makes you say that? I mean, there's absolutely no reason why you would get heartbroken. The day after you saw me, you posted a thirst trap on Viesco, and every time we call, I hear your phone notice blowing up. I'm not retarded, unfortunately. You're the only one whose phone is blowing up, I swear to God. I mean, that's not true because I would turn off my notifications when I would go on dates. So, that's a lie, because, yeah, whatever. But yeah, so anyways, that's the thing. Yeah, maybe I'm caught on that one, actually. But yeah, it's because, yeah, someone, yeah. Anyways, okay, let's keep watching.
And gut feeling. That means I'm the one who gets attached. I'll get heartbroken. Your gut feeling is wrong. What makes you say that? I mean, there's absolutely no reason. The day after you saw me, you posted a thirst trap on Visco, and every time we call, I hear your phone notice blow up. I'm not retarded, unfortunately. So that's just that screenshot.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I told him that, and he would also tell me this on call all the time, and he would get mad and just hang up every time I would get a notif. So
Oh, really? But there's not a screenshot of me being like, nah, if you're gonna get a notification, fuck you, I don't want to talk to you. There's not a screenshot of that? Huh. It's a bit strange.
It's so insane.
So that is what you say it is. The what was I gonna say? Is there anything else that you guys feel like a key point that you would want to say, or do you all feel like that you've gotten your chance to like say your experience?
I mean, I was the only one that was really talking, so I think that they should also go into more depth about what they had personally.
Let's keep watching.
Pure, that's all I'm gonna say. Because he can openly go and post his thirst traps, or he can talk to a bajillion women behind their backs and sleep with them. But if one of the girls that he's talking to, like, even has a selfie somewhere, like, he freaks out.
Okay. So, forgive me for being heartless for this claim. But if I'm gonna post a thirst trap on my story, and you're gonna post a thirst trap on your story, okay? And your attitude towards me isn't gonna change, and I'll just be like, okay, I'll keep doing it. Or if it does change, I don't care enough about you that I'm not gonna stop it. But if you do it, then I'm gonna obviously show you that I care less about it, right? Because obviously we're not in relationships, we're not committed to each other. I'm gonna be honest, I think that's literally just what dating is. Sorry to say. But for me, the way that I view it is like, you just see how people act, you judge their reactions towards the things you do, right? And then if there's a conflict there and you care enough with that person for it to change, then you're going to be like, I'll change it. And if you don't, you won't. But I never sat there. I never forced anything, right? I never sat there. I never demanded anything. The only thing I did was be like, yeah, I'm less interested now. Going to be honest, right? In relation to all of these accusations, you know. I just genuinely can't believe that after what Tarzan did, he thought that bringing up a failed lawyer and the whole fruit basket was gonna like seal the nail in the coffin for me. That's the most insane shit to me.
And that's just like, and then he manipulates them into thinking that they're wrong. And this isn't me specific. This is more so Strawberry specific. But it's just like, how do you think that way? It's like a control thing. It's like he wants to control you and the narrative where like you have to be so incredibly obsessed with him and only him, and he's gonna lie to you and spoon feed you.
So it's not a thing where I would sit there and I would be like, no, you have to be incredibly obsessed with me and only me. It's just a thing where if you were, obviously I'd give more attention than someone that's not. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. For me, I just view that as like a thing where I think most people would say that if you think someone is more interested in you, you're going to give them more attention and you're going to reciprocate whatever feelings they're going to put towards you more. And then if they don't, then you're not, right? Like, this is legitimately just a normal thing. But we can keep going.
And tell you that like, you know, like you're special, like you're loved, that you mean something. Like that's not.
Yeah,
that's
so
not normal.
Strawberry, do you have anything you want to add as like a statement or anything of like anything you want to talk about?
I mean, cause I opened up to him and I was not at the best when we were talking, and I feel like he just really took advantage of that. And I think to you guys too, he did that pretty much.
Yeah.
So what it was, right, the situation with Strawberry, if he wants to call her that, was that we were sitting there and it was just like a super casual thing, right? And then after a little bit of time, she starts telling me about how, oh, you know, school's going really rough and all that stuff. And I was telling her, I was like, oh, you know, like when I get back to Canada, then we can go on like a long walk or something, and then I'll talk you through it, and we can like figure out solutions so that you don't like have issues with that and shit like that, right? And then after I was saying stuff like that over the course of a few days, as I started to realize that Laura was actually like way better for me than anyone I've ever met in my life, I started to become less responsive. I started to become less open. I started to talk to them way less. It would go from being messaging for hours every night to being maybe 1 or 2 messages a night, if even that, when I eventually ended up completely breaking things off 10 days before me and Laura made things official, right? So that's the thing. And you guys saw the screenshots, you guys saw the receipts, you guys saw that I tried my best to be as, I guess, like good as I could in the situation that I put myself in, right? Which obviously I shouldn't have been in to begin with. But to sit here and to try to like go public broadcasting yourself as like victims and stuff like that, it's just like, especially considering the stories, it's just like strange. You know, it's just strange.
That's pretty low, but honestly, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see. So I can see what you guys are saying. Thank you so much for.
Okay, guys. Now the funniest thing ever happens. Type 1 if you're ready. I don't think that I've ever seen anything this hilarious in my entire life.
Your time, and I really appreciate that you guys wanted to talk about this. I'm just being a host here, just letting people talk, and I think we have one more guest appearance, and
so
I think that
Tarzan, in his infinite wisdom, decided to bring on a girl that is a well-known pedobaiter within the League of Legends scene that had an OnlyFans at the age of 16 years ago that faked allegations of domestic abuse against a partner that she had because she would say that she was into certain things sexually, record him, and then pretend like it wasn't consensual, among other things. Someone who lied and manipulated hundreds, if not thousands of men, and who I heard from someone that had known her for years that she even did things with younger people. Let's just say that. And this is all allegedly, this is all, right, in game, for lack of better speak. But let's get into what she has to say right now, shall we?
That will conclude everyone being able to say, you know, what they wanted to. So thank you so much. And I'll see you girls around. I mean, probably not because I'm married, but, you know, I wish you the best in life.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I just messaged the last person.
Wait for it.
And we'll...
This is the girl, by the way, that I called a disgusting whore on Twitter. If you're watching the stream, you're a disgusting whore, and I hope you still know that. Let's keep watching.
Get to that. So, it is what it is. If they're here, sure. Awesome. Yo, hello?
Hi.
So, you're the one where Dantes told you to shut...
So now what happens is he says, you were the one who told Dantes to shut the fuck up, you disgusting whore. Right? And then she goes on to say this. Are you guys ready? This is the ending of the situation.
I'm just going to quickly ask you 2 questions, and I think we'll be good.
Alright.
Have you ever had sex with Dantes?
No.
Have you ever talked about your body count with Dantes?
No.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great one. I think that's kind of...
So that's what Apricot had to say, guys. That's what Apricot had to say. Awesome. Nice. So, anyways, yeah, I mean, that pretty much concludes the whole situation. TLDR, Tarzan is the worst person in the entire League of Legends scene, bar none. He has repeatedly started dramas with countless people over the course of the last several years. He has constantly tried to ruin the careers of others, whether it be me, whether it be Nice, whether it be Freak. He would constantly do targeted attacks and use his entire audience and platform as a missile that he would send against anybody that he didn't like. And he's been doing this for years, and it's about damn time that it stops. That is what I have to say. So anyways, for everybody that watched the stream, for everybody that gave me the benefit of the doubt over the last few days especially, thank you all for that. I really do appreciate it. For everybody that has, you know, like shown messages of support and all that kind of stuff towards both me and Laura, we do both appreciate it greatly. The synopsis of everything is just that at the end of the day, these are all private matters that should have never even been brought public in the first place. And the fact that that creature had the audacity to sit there and think that what he was doing was in any way the right thing, when all of his accusations were merely nothing but projection, is insane to me. Anyways, with that being said though, at the end of it all, the one person that deserved all of this the least was Laura, and I'm sure that you guys can all recognize that. I've definitely done things that might have warranted some kind of like public lashing, so to speak. I've definitely acted in ways that are less than ideal, but I truly, from the bottom of my heart, never thought that it would ever go to this level. I truly never thought that things would ever rise to this extent because there are just some things they just don't do. And I didn't realize that a person that I considered a friend for as long as I did was willing to do that. Anyways, with that all being said though, I once again want to thank everyone for just listening, and especially with an open mind to everything I have to say. I hope that all of you guys have some kind of closure for all this drama and for this entire situation in general. I really do hope that this is the last I will ever have to speak on this. However, if people try saying things over the next few days or anything like that, then I will respond if a response is necessary. But anyways, with that all being said, thank you all again for everything. And yeah, so I guess kind of like as a closing statement, I do genuinely think though that at the end of the day, I have a lot of psychological issues. I do think that even though I did have a great childhood and all of that, being in the online scene and having a warped perception of reality that I've had for years now has kind of like led me to believe certain things, have certain mindsets regarding certain things and all that stuff. So when I do get back to Canada, I will be looking into therapy. I will be looking into ways that I can actually sit there and be able to process a lot while also being able to grow from it. And yeah. But anyways, with that being said though, I do want to thank you guys all again for everything, and I will see you guys all again whenever I'm live again.